My name is Carlyn Tilley. It's Karlyn Tilley, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, PIO, Public Information Officer. We're pleased to announce that the burn that we are doing, the controlled burn that we are doing right now, is going absolutely great. The weather was cooperating. Overnight, it was absolutely wonderful. We were able to get so much of that extra fuel burned out, and we only had about 50 acres left this morning to burn. And so they're working on that right now. And once that is done, we will have a much better chance of getting all of our residents back in their homes. So we're very optimistic that we're well on our way to getting people back in their homes safely so that they won't have to evacuate again. So we absolutely want to make sure that we're in a position where we're not putting them in danger, and that's why we take these extra precautions and don't let them in a little bit earlier. But we are very excited that this is going faster than we even thought it was going to, and we hope to be able to give them that one word that they're looking for very soon. So we will keep you guys posted on that. Now, the power that went out yesterday was turned back on this morning, so it was less than 24 hours that the power was out, which is great. So hopefully nobody has spoiled food in their house. Of course, everybody should check it when they get home and see. But the power is back on. There is gas turned off for just a certain area of the community. It's the Murphy subdivision, has about 50 homes with with gas off. Excel will have to come in once the residents get back in. Excel will have to come in and go door to door and turn that back on. But they're ready, they're prepared to do it, and they're just waiting for the go ahead. Once our residents are all allowed back in, they are going to be the only ones allowed back in for at least 48 hours. We're going to give them a little bit of time. We're still going to have the roadblocks, and we want to make sure that they have that space and that time to get back home, get their animals back home, get settled before the public can get up there and start recreating, start seeing the burn scar. We just want to give them a moment to breathe and a moment to enjoy being back in their homes. But again, we hope to do that very soon. We don't want to make false promises. We don't want to say that it's going to happen tonight or tomorrow, but we just know we're getting so close. And another big factor that we're looking at is Mother Nature. So if we get some good rains tonight, we're even closer. So we're just waiting on Mother Nature. We're doing our part. All of our firefighters are out there doing their part. The residents are being so patient with us, and they're wonderful, and we're very excited. And we just need Mother Nature to bring us a little bit of rain to speed up the process. But if she doesn't, then we are still working, and we're still going to do everything we can to get them in quickly. That's really the only updates we have right now. Are there any questions?
How much did the rain from last night help you?
So the rain from last night was wonderful for the firefighters. It didn't really affect the fire. So it didn't help to put the fire out, but it did give some relief to our firefighters, which was much needed. And we're hoping for a more substantial rain tonight.
How many acres at this time?
So we're still saying the 472 with 35% containment. We're sticking with that right now only because we haven't gotten the official word of what those numbers have increased to, and we don't want to give you bad information. So once they do a flyover, maybe this afternoon or this evening, and we can get those updated numbers, we will. I can tell you containment is higher. The acreage is a little bit higher too, but a lot of that is because of the controlled burns that we are doing right now. We're trying to get that fuel out of there so the fire doesn't have anything left to burn.
Can you tell us some of the strategic things that firefighters are doing now to continue the containment at the rate that you have it now?
The bulldozer lines and the hand lines that they've been digging around the fire, they continue to make those more substantial. They're clearing them out. So after the lines are dug, and even on the roads, if they can get things off the roads and they can make that an even safer area and even a bigger area so the fire can't jump any sort of road, that is the goal. So they are still out there, they're still clearing stuff out. They're still doing everything by hand or the bulldozers or chainsaws, using every tool that they have. Some of the back burn involves some of the helicopters and then putting water back on it. So the fire right now is doing exactly what we hoped it would do. It's blowing in the right direction. It's burning the right things, and we're very, very excited for that.
You told us that the rain didn't necessarily help the wildfire, but it did help those firefighters. Is this the same set of crews that we've seen since the beginning of last week that have been on, off, on, off, on, off on the same fire?
We have had so many partners and so much help. All of our local firefighters in this entire region have been amazing. We've had firefighters from other states. They've come from all over, and they're helping to relieve each other. So to say it's the same firefighters, not necessarily, but they are rotating in and out. And the ones that are dedicated to here stay here for a certain period of time. It's just however long they're deployed and however long their station can allow for them to be here to help us.
Talking about that relief, I mean, do they need relief? This seems hard. It seems like it's been hard the whole time.
It's steep. It's grueling, it's hot, there are no sources of water up there, and so everything they're doing is difficult. Every step they take is hard, but they're doing it, they're staying extra hours, they're staying overnight extra hours because they want to get the residents back in their homes.
Can you talk about the decision and what went into the decision for the controlled burn, and especially as far as where it was and what gains you hope from it?
So you probably have seen some of the fire maps, and you see the large road off to the west. And that road is sort of the fire line that we've been trying to, it's the box that we've been trying to contain it in, right? So the fire hasn't reached parts of those areas, but as of this morning, we literally and figuratively turned a corner. The fire turned that corner. It's blowing in that right direction, exactly how we want it to go. And what they're hoping to do is just get all of the things that can burn from the ground out of there, clear it out so the fire doesn't have a way to travel any further. And it is not getting into the canopies, so that's also very, very good news. It is getting the scrub oak and it is getting the stuff on the ground, but it is not getting into the canopies of the trees.
Well, when decision as far as what circumstances do you need in place to do this controlled burn rather than previous dates?
Well, we first had to make sure that the other parts of the fire were safe enough. We had to contain the fire itself first and make sure that we had that under control before we could ever start burning anything ourselves. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of preparation, it takes specific crews, specific gear, specific weather conditions. That's why some of these operations are happening overnight instead of in the middle of the heat of the day. And so there are many, many factors that they look at in order to be able to do that, because they certainly don't want to cause problems. They don't want to add to the trouble. They want to relieve the trouble.
But all these things aligned up at this time that you were able to do so.
All the stars have aligned, and we are very, very excited that it's going exactly as we hope. And God willing and Mother Nature willing, we will get people back in their homes very soon.
Can you be a little more descriptive about when you say the fire took a turn? Can you tell us a little bit more about the area where it took a turn and went in a direction that is more beneficial to firefighting right now?
So the southwest corner of the fire is where we were beginning that controlled burn. And when you go from that southwest corner to the north up along the west side, that was all area that had not been hit by the fire. A lot of it's very steep and rugged terrain, and that was the area they wanted to focus on so that the fire could not spread any further there. They're getting rid of that fuel so that the fire has nothing to eat.
Creating a fire divider there to stop the fire at that point.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Can you talk about the daytime and nighttime workers? In other words, you said 24 hours. Can you describe a little bit about the 24-hour fight?
Do you know what the hours a crew is on?
It depends, but usually 10 to 12.
Okay. Do you want to?
Sure.
She's probably better to talk to you about this.
Hi, my name is Stacy Martin. I'm also one of the PIOs for this incident. There are different crews that go on at night. Sometimes their qualifications are a little different. In this case, some of them are our hot shot crews that are doing the burning. This is what they do. They're very good at it. They make sure that the temperatures are right, the conditions are right, and then they lay fire on the ground. A couple nights ago, it was doing so good, they're like, we're staying. We're gonna work a few extra hours because everything was lining up perfectly. So that's fantastic.
Can you spell your name?
Stacy, Stacee Martin, Martin.
You are?
I am one of the PIOs for Jefferson County Incident Management Team.
For those residents that are going to be led back home soon, are they going to be able to go back to a safe, normal neighborhood, or are they going to notice a difference right away?
So the question was, are residents going to notice a big difference when they go back to their homes? Some will and some won't, honestly. Because we've been able to keep a lot of that fire out of the trees will still look green. Some of the areas will still look green, but there will absolutely be burn scars throughout the entire area. And so there will be a difference in how it all looks. But for the most part, it's the areas that will grow back, that can get green again, and it's a small price to pay in order to save lives and homes.
On social media, you said you would see increased smoke in the air today. Can you explain what that's about?
Yeah, the increased smoke that was in the air today is because of those controlled burns that we're doing. So that was the smoke that you saw. We have tried very hard to make sure that all of the residents in that area understand that that is a normal thing and that they don't need to be worried about that smoke that they're seeing. There will be firefighters throughout this area for weeks to come. This is not over for us even when residents go back. It is a long, arduous process to make sure that there aren't any flare-ups, and there still might be little flare-ups throughout the area. But if there is smoke in the area, if there's any danger, of course we would let the residents know. But as of this time, we really feel confident that we're getting a good handle on that.
Do you know how much rain fell on the area last night?
I don't.
I know the answer to this question is we don't know. But the question is, when can people come back? And I know last week when we asked that, they said could be days, could be weeks. Are we adjusting that perception at all? Is it more like mostly just days at this point?
I don't want to give anybody false hope, and I don't want to say something that's wrong. It's kind of like when you're climbing a peak and you hit the false summit, and then all of a sudden you realize you have another summit. So we just don't want to give a timeline right now, but we do want to make sure that the residents understand that we are so encouraged, and we really truly believe that this is not going to last much longer for them.
Can you talk a little bit about updated information on the status of the relief efforts that are happening on the high school and families have you helped that you can say, or how things are going down there?
We've had a steady flow of residents coming into the evacuation center. It's been a really beautiful thing to see, honestly. We go there twice a day and we give them updates, but also it's become a community, and we've seen neighbors getting to know neighbors and learning more about each other. So there is a little bit of good that comes out of all of this, and I think that the residents are just closer as a result of this.
Any more run-ins with wildlife?
Not that we've heard. And no more injuries that we've heard for any firefighters at this point. We're very thankful for that.
Are you anticipating calling for any more help at this point from other firefighting agencies?
No.
How about air support? Will helicopters continue to patrol the area and douse flames if needed? What's the plan there?
We still have 3 helicopters that are on standby that are dedicated to this fire, that if we need them, they can deploy in a moment's notice. So we still have those resources available, and we use them as we need them. We don't always need them, but they are on standby and they're here for us. And as a result of that, we still need people to not fly their drones over the burn area. We've had a real problem with that. We've had multiple people with drones flying over the area, and when they fly, we can't. So we cannot be up in the air when a drone is up in the air, and that is a problem. So we need to make sure everybody stays out of that area. We're also asking recreationalists to stay out of that area for now. Please, no biking or hiking. Give us a little bit of time to get it under control, and then you can go right back to that area.
Have you been able to determine who was flying those drones?
All of that's under investigation. It is definitely being looked into.
And speaking of investigation, where are you in terms of determining how this started?
We are very much in the middle of this investigation. We are using all of the resources we have available to us, including state resources, which have been offered to us in order to help us really thoroughly look into this and see if we can figure out the cause and whether or not there's a suspect. We know it was human caused. We don't know if it was intentional or accidental, So all of that are things that we need to look at, and that's really all I can say about that right now. But believe me, they are working hard to find answers.
Follow-up question to that. Did the deputy who discovered the fire, was there any sort of video recording within that car, or a deputy's body-worn camera that would have captured some of the fire at the beginning that you guys would have recorded?
We looked, no.
No, there was no camera, or no, there was no recording.
No recording. There was nothing was recorded. It's not a requirement for them if they're just checking out something like that, or it's when they have interactions and have enforcement that the requirements are that they turn those on. So we just don't have any footage of that.
Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
We are planning as of now 2 p.m. tomorrow at this same location. If anything changes, we'll let you all know. But as of now, that's where we stand.
Is it just the 2 areas still that have been allowed back in under pre-vac notice?
Yes.
And 3 others that are still under mandatory?
Yes.
3. Thank you.
Yep.